Good evening, friends. This is Patty from Bows and Things, and my motto is This Girl Can. So today, this girl can. If you're worried about making a bow, if you're afraid about making a bow, let's make a bow together. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to make a bow using this Easy Bow Maker Deluxe. I don't know why they call it a deluxe. I guess because it has a spool holder. I don't have the dowel in there, but you can hammer your dowel in there. I never use it, but you might like to use it. Everyone's different. You'll see I move my spool back and forth a lot. So I don't put it on there stationary because I'm always moving everything around. Okay, so things we're going to need. Zip tie. Jute is always timeless, traditional, classic, depending what you want to tie, your bow to, a wreath, a door, a vase, whatever it may be. You definitely need some kind of a tying apparatus, and you want to get as close to your bow color as you can. If you're using the button bow, we're going to do a 3-2-1 bow today. That's going to be 3 larger loops, then we're going to come in with 2 smaller loops, then we're going to have that little button, the center of the bow that finishes everything off and makes it nice and pretty. You can also use pipe cleaners, okay? Anything you can to tie that little baby together so it doesn't come apart. That's what you can use, as long as you hide your mechanics. All right, I like to use the Bowdabra. You can see the Bowdabra string. This is a wire, actually, and I love this because what you do if you ever get it. This, by the way, this is a real video in real time with real mistakes in real life, okay? It's not one of those fast, fancy things where you can't follow and they make it look so easy. When you make your first couple, say 6 bows, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So the best thing to do is just take your time, have all your materials ready, have a good pair of scissors ready, okay? Don't have a $5 pair of scissors like these that you found in your kitchen drawer, because you will ruin and shred your ribbon to smithereens, okay? Don't do that, girl. Please don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to start. I find that using a burlap ribbon, wired ribbon, you always want to use a wired ribbon. Invest in some good quality ribbon because it's worth it. It's so worth it. If you use cheap ribbon, unless you're making little tiny hair bows or whatever is you're into. I don't make those. I make wreath bows. Currently I'm working on Easter. I'm a crafter, so I'm working on Easter bows and Easter wreath bows and things like that. So this is an example of a 3-2-1 bow I just made. It's not perfect. Like I said, it's just an example. Pink is always really pretty. Can y'all see that? It has 3 large doojibobs here, 2 loops here, and then the 1 button in the middle. This button is great because it hides all your mechanics. So I'll show you that as we get going. So anyhow, let's get this party started. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to make a tail tonight. We're going to make a bow tonight, and we're going to do 5-inch loops, the larger ones, okay? We're going to do 3 on this side and 3 on this side. We're going to do 2 smaller loops, come in a little bit more, 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and then we're going to do 1 button in the middle, hence the name, the 3, the 2, and the 1, the 3-2-1 bow, okay? That's not a perfect one, it's not fluff, but anyway, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is measure your tails. Some people like really long tails, some people like shorter tails. Again, it depends what you're tying your bow to. I always make my tail maybe 1 inch or 2 longer than I think I'm going to need, because when you dovetail, you lose an inch or 2, okay? You don't have to, but you usually do. You'll get the hang of it. So anyway, I have my ribbon over here. I have my mat here. And if I want to do 10-inch tails, let's do 10-inch tails. So if I want to do 10-inch tails, excuse me, I'm going to stop here at the 10. I'm going to flip this over, okay? Double it up. This sucker slides all around. So if you really get to using this, I'd invest in a little piece of double-sided, like that gooey square tape, and keep it stationary, because this baby, I like using this, but it does slide away, okay? Usually I'll put something in front of it to keep it from moving. Okay, I got you guys back. Okay, so you can see. All right, so we're doing 10-inch tails. Now, this is real life, real time. Like I said, there are no perfect bows. They're like people. There are no perfect people, and there are no perfect bows. And I hear that time and time again as I'm watching all these professionals go on about doing what they do, and they make it all look so easy. But I'm here to tell you, bow making takes lots and lots of practice. Okay, you're not going to make a beautiful bow your first time around. You're going to make many mistakes. However, just like myself, I've been doing this just a few months now. I have learned from those mistakes, and I've only gotten better. And my motto is, this girl can, okay? And you can too. Just don't give up. You have to just keep trying, and you just have to keep practicing, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to pinch this tail down in here, and I'm using the burlap. I tried to use this is linen, this one here. It's very flimsy, especially for a tutorial, and it slides all over the place. So you want to make smaller loops if you do linen until you get better. So stick with a thicker ribbon. The burlap is a great ribbon to practice with, and get you one piece of ribbon and just practice with it over and over and over, because I can't tell you how many bows I messed up, how much ribbon I threw away, and ribbon is not cheap. Okay, it is not cheap. All right, you know that now. If you're making bows, you know all that crafting stuff, none of it is cheap. Okay, so anyway, we have our tails. They match, 10 inches on each side. We're just going to give them a little pinch and a little squeeze here. Okay, so they're down in there, and I'm going to move this guy a little bit closer. Y'all can see. Now, I'm doing this video. The reason I'm not doing it from the front or the back, because I want y'all to see the side as I'm putting things in. And everything I'm doing on this side, I'm going to equally be doing on this side. So if I'm making a 5-inch loop here, I'm making a 5-inch loop here. For this particular bow anyway. When you start getting fancy into these trendy bows and layered bows and all the other bows that people make, then you can fool around with it. But for now, if you're just learning, stick with a traditional bow, okay? Just make it easy on yourself initially until you get the hang of using this. I also have this is a Bow Dabra. This is great too. This builds down. This builds from the bottom up. So they're very different little gadgets here. And I love how they call them bow makers, okay? These little apparatuses, whatever they are, thingies, they're not bow makers. You are the bow maker. You are the designer. You are the one that is going to be measuring. You know what? I also recommend getting yourself a ruler. This is my husband's ruler, you see. But just a small, cheap, plastic, 99-cent ruler. Because that way, if you don't have this and you want to go bigger on something and you just want to measure, and just make sure once you get to layering, if you can't see, you have your old handy dandy tape measure here to make sure your loops are staying the same. For this particular bow, you do want to keep your measurements pretty close to exact, or it's not gonna, you're not going to be able to fluff it properly. And fluffing it is the biggest thing when you make the bow, because when you make a bow, you finish with the ribbon, you have this big stack of, what do I do with this now? This doesn't look like anything but a big hot mess, until you know how to fluff and move your loops and design your bow and follow whatever formula you're following. Okay, enough chatting, here we go. Now, this is in real time, and I'm doing it in real time, and I'll tell you why I'm not editing. Because I want you to see exactly what to do. And when you're working with ribbon, one thing I hated when I first started making bows, I had to keep hitting stop, rewind, fast forward, stop, rewind. I mean, I must have did it 100 times, and I thought, is there anybody that's making a bow in real time? So anyway, there is, and that gal's me right now. So let's pull a piece of this off if we can ever get to the end of it here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to cut a nice size piece of this, because you want to leave plenty of room for whatever you're going to tie this to, wreath, whatever. So I take this here and I make a loop. Can you see that loop here? I take this, I make a loop with my finger, and then I'm going to cut it about here. This is a little handy dandy thing here. So it's a loop, okay, 2 strings on one side, and then you have your loop, and you want to set that aside a minute, because I'm going to set it up here when we're ready to tie our bow. So I get everything else out of my way, clean my workspace, which is not clean often, but anyway, I try to do my best today for this video. Okay, everything's out of the way. It's just me, you, the easy bow maker. We're the bow makers. This is a tool. This is like a third hand, okay? That's all it is. It does nothing else. There's a few measurements. That's it. You are the creator. You are the designer. And like I said, there are no perfect bows. They're just like people. It's not. They're not. Okay. So we're going to start by leaving just about, I'd say maybe an inch in here, okay? And we're going to pinch this down. Now, burlap is the same on both sides. I think so. Well, no. You can see the stitching, so you always want to keep the stitching away from you, and you'll see that. So we're going to start on the right. I'm going to move this over a bit. Y'all can see that. Okay, I'm going to start over here on the right, and I'm going to put the good side down, okay? So I'm just going to put about an inch there, and I'm going to pinch and twist. Then I'm going to hold that a minute. I'm going to take this over to the 5-inch mark, okay, right here, because our first 3 loops, they're going to be 5 inches. So you want to hold that steady. Now, I move my ribbon around a lot, so I know if I'm going this way with my loop, I take my ribbon over there. So I'm holding my finger on the 5-inch. I'm putting this in away from me, okay? And make sure you're staying at that 5 inches there before you pinch, okay? You hold it. Whoops, I'm on 6. I gotta get some better glasses. Okay, I'm on 5. All right, ready? So I'm on 5. I'm gonna pinch this on down. Okay, and as I go down, we're building from the back forward. Okay, so this is the very last loop at the back of our bow. Okay, so I have it at 5 inches. I'm just going to straighten this out a bit. All right, now that you get the gist of it, here we go. We're going to make another 5-inch loop. So I'm going to move this over here because I'm going to end up on that side. So I'm going to take this to the 5-inch mark. I'm going to hold my pinky finger there. I'm going to bring this on through. Some people pinch at the top. I pinch at the bottom. I'm going to push forward, pushing my ribbon away from me, and twist. Okay? And like I said, check here. Look, we're at the 5-inch mark there. I'm going to hold this side. I'm going to check over here. Yep, we're at the 5-inch mark, maybe a hair over, but we're darn close. Okay? Now we're in here. I'm twisted. All right, ready? So we're going to come back in. We're making another 5-inch loop. Now you can use this loop, okay, as your guide. I'm going to throw my ribbon on that side. Get over there. All right, I'm going to hold this on top of that other loop at the 5-inch mark. I'm going to bring it on in. Once I'm in, I'm going to pinch and twist forward and twist away from me. This thing slides like the devil, let me tell you. You got to really hold on to this thing. All right, it's a little over. I'm going to bring it through. Okay, like I said, real life, real time, okay? It's not all this fancy smancy making it look easy, because the first couple of times it's not easy. All right, moving right along. And I want you to critique my video. If there's anything you think I missed, anything you think I should have explained better, I want to hear your thoughts, okay? Because this is my first vlogging video, okay? I got my equipment today. I'm so excited. I got some very cheap starter equipment, okay? Because I'm starting a business. I turned 52 the other day, and I am starting my own bow making business. I'm also a crafter. I am learning to do wreaths, which that's a whole nother show. But anyway, all right, I'm going to hold this guy. It's trying to slide off there. Again, I'm going with my ribbon. Okay, see I'm holding there. I got my pinky finger. All right, now I'm going to grab here, and I'm going to pinch it down, and I'm going to twist it, okay? And I'm twisting it the wrong way. I'm going to twist it. Hold on, guys. I made a mistake. See? Real life, real time. I'm going to go back in this way, and then I'm going to pinch the ribbon away from me and down. Now, keep this middle tight here, okay? Keep the middle tight. All right? They looking like they're the same size or pretty darn close. If not, you can inch that ribbon out a little bit. And don't be afraid to move the ribbon around. Don't be afraid to play with it, okay? Because what you're looking at now, this is going to be the front of your bow. So if you see something twisting down there or something doesn't look right, you go on and adjust it. That's one good thing about this one. You can't do with the Bow Dabra. You can see what you're doing. See, I can hold this, I can move this here, and I can move that there. And I'm thinking, okay, looks good. And there are your lines there. All right, now put everything on back so it stays tight. Push down that middle. We're going back over. All right, we have 2 already. We're going to do one more 5-inch loop over this side. This is a really pretty bow. Just stick around for the outcome. You're going to say, oh, this video is long, but at least you don't have to keep fast forwarding it, rewinding it 1,000 times. Who wants to do that when you're trying to concentrate on what you're doing? It's very annoying. Okay, so we're going in, we're going to push down, we're going to pinch, and we're going to twist, okay? Now this one's a little long, so what do you do when that happens? You just squeeze it on through a little bit, and then you pinch and twist again, okay? Now, it's still a little long. Come on in here. All right, I think we got it that time, folks. Nah, still a little long. Okay, so I have my 3 5-inch loops over here. I have 2 here, so I need 1 more. Remember, always make sure when you're making your bow, when you have that loop, you want to have that side down, the not pretty side, the not so pretty side down. See the stitching here? We want that facing away, okay? So we're going to twist this. Actually, you know what? We're good on that. There we go. All right. 1 more. This is the last of our 3 5-inch. Then we're going to switch to 4-inch, okay? That's where this bow gets the name from, the 3, 2, 1. So I'm holding my pinky there. I'm bringing this guy down. I'm going to slide it in. We'll make sure it's lined up. I'm going to push it down. And then I'm going to push it away from me, pinch, and twist. Some people twist up here, and then they put it down. I like to twist down here, okay? So, everything's looking pretty good. I'd say these are all looking same size, pretty close. Maybe I can bring that in just a hair. And that's all you have to do. You just hold it, and you bring it in just a hair. Okay, they look great. Now, look. See that? Boom, boom, boom. All right? Even this one still could come out a bit. All right, there we go. So now we have our 3 loops. Now we're going to move down. That's 5-inch loop. We're going to move down. We're working in. So we're going to come in 1 inch, and we're going to make 4-inch loops. And you can check. You can move here. So we're going to take our ribbon to 4 inches now. All right? We have a couple more to go. Hang in with me, guys. You're doing great. All right. So we're looking for the 4-inch mark over here. And you'll be able to eye it, you know, after a while, because don't make yourself crazy with measurements unless you're making a bow like this, because when you fluff this, you really can tell if your measurements are off. This is one of the classic bows, and it's a very, I guess, a neat and tidy bow. So the way you fluff it, it really, you really want it to, you know, just look really neat and tidy, and you want it to be even on both sides. That's important. You definitely want your loops to be the same size on both sides. If you're a hair off, you're okay. But if you got one big long 7-inch loop here and a 6-inch and a 5-inch, it's not going to work out for you. So you're going to have to start over. That's why I said keep the same ribbon and practice, practice, practice. Don't make a bow and throw it away. If you mess up, untie the bow and use the same ribbon again. Trust me, and I'm telling you from experience, okay? I'm telling you from my experience. Where's that 4? There's that 4 here. It's about right here. All right. So again, we're coming over. This is our last 4-inch loop. Okay. I'm going to bring it in. Oops, I went the wrong way. I'm going to bring it on in. I'm keeping my finger there so I know I'm at the 4-inch mark. And I'm going to twist, pinch, and push it on down there. All right. Now, let's do 2 more 4-inch loops. Then we're going to do our little button in the middle, and then we're done. Okay, so you see I have 3 and then 4-inch. I'm coming in on another 4-inch. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I made a hot cup of tea and I've heated it up 3 times and it's sitting there cold. All right, now see how this dowel starts to lift. You got to keep pushing it down. All right, you don't want your ribbon coming out of there and your stack getting messed up. All right, I'm even with the other one. I'm going to come one down. There we go. Got it. All right, we're going to come on back through. This is our last 4-inch. Look, I'm running out of ribbon here. It's a good thing. All right, we're going to match this up to this one here. All right, that looks about right. I'm going to bring it on through. I push my dowels together every once in a while too because they get loose. All right, make sure that's matching now because this is important for this particular bow. Okay, all right, we're pinching and we're twisting. Okay, so we have 2 4-inch bows here. They're going to be in the front, 3 in the back, 5 inches. Same over here on this side. This is looking exactly the same. We have the 4-inch here, 2 of them, and then 3 over here. Count your loops, check everything. You got it? Are you with me? Did you fall asleep on me? Because this is a long video. Okay, now for the very last one is going to be the one that covers all of our hardware. I call this the button bow or the center bow. So I usually make the center bow depending how big my bow is. You can kind of eye it, you know. You just put it right on back through. Be careful. And you come back in, I'd say a good maybe 1.5 inches for this particular bow. And then you just push it on down and you pinch. Can y'all see that? See that? That's what's going to hide all my hardware and my wire and where I cut the ribbon, all right? So that's your center bow, okay? Let me make sure I got you back in view. All right, good. This, like I said, this is my first video, guys. And I just wanted to do one in real time because I'm seeing all these people and making them, and they're going, I'm like, oh my God, how can you learn anything? Now, on this last one, I give a little twist just because that's where you're going to tie there, and you want to make sure everything's really down in there, and then you want to be careful. You don't want to cut any other ribbon, and just, whoops, go on in there, give that a cut, leave about a good inch there, and don't worry, we can trim that off later. All right, and there you have it. Now, here comes the fun part. Now, I like to take this little fella here. You push your stack down real tight in the middle, okay? Don't forget your tails when you're lifting, okay? Make sure you have your tails in your hand. Now, you're going to have your whole stack of ribbon like so. See, my thumbs here and the rest of my fingers are down. And I have that stacked tight like the devil. All right, now I'm going to move this easy bow apparatus out of my way. Okay, this is the front of our bow. So what we're going to do, you're going to lift one of your fingers up. You're going to take these 2 strings and you're going to put them through that hole. Once you get them through that hole, you got to move your finger somehow, some way, somehow. You're going to have to wiggle it. See how I'm tying in the back there? All right, now I'm going to push this whole stack face down. Don't let anything slide out now. And you're going to pull up on that. See, it makes a loop. See how it's got that stack there? Now, this certainly is not tied. Don't let go anything yet. See how that stack is there? You have a big stack. Looks like a big stack of mess, doesn't it? Well, you wait. Wait for the magic to happen. Don't leave before the magic happens, because knowing how to fluff your bow is another thing. So when I first started making bows, they came out like this, and I thought, oh my God, that looks like a big stack of mess. Well, the artistry is in the fluffing. So if you know what kind of bow you're making and you know how to fluff it, that is a very, very important thing to know. So because this is called the 3-2-1 bow, your friend Patty, happens to know how to fluff it. Now I tie this a couple times here real tight in the back. Okay. Nice and tight. That way when you're fluffing out your bows, you don't want to lose any of your loops after all that work. Okay, now when I'm fluffing, you can do it 2 ways. Push that wire down here out of your way. Now, this is our front. See this here? See that little button? See? That's going to hide that wire there, okay? So you can take this, and if there's anything hanging out all around your bow, first thing you want to do is you want to trim as much as that as you can get, but be careful. You don't want to cut into the rest of your bow there, okay? Just get as close as you can without cutting any of your loops. And I'm not going to push it there, so for now I'm going to leave this. Well, I can get this little piece here. All right. So these take some time for a while. You might take you an hour to make one bow when you first start. You might pick it up quickly, and hey, good for you. But I'll tell you, I fooled around in this craft room for hours and hours before I could even make a basic bow that that I wasn't afraid to show somebody. All right. All right. Now, when I fluff from the back. So we're going to flip this little baby off. We're going to push our tails down there out of our way. All right. I'm going to hold this here at the button. See, there's another thing we can trim off. Let's get that real quick. I'm sorry, guys. You can fast forward this. Like I said, it's real time. I hope that the information I'm sharing with you has helped you in some way, at least brought you some joy or taught you a thing or two. If you're sitting around like me, 52 years old on a Saturday night, making bows, which I love making bows because bows and pretty things make people happy. And I love making people happy, and I'm losing my voice. Something awful. All right, so we're going to put our fingers through each loop. You're going to take your hand. These are nice big loops too. Take your hands way down in there. I mean, go way down in there by where you tied that wire while you're holding in the middle, and just fluff that baby on out, all right? And you're going to go in your middle wire here. These are the back ones. These are the 5-inch. You're going to fluff that baby out. Fluff it out. Just fluff it. Show it who's boss. Fluff it and fluff it. So this is time consuming. I mean, if you really want a nice looking bow, you really want to spend some time. And most videos you watch, people will tell you they could just sit there forever and fluff a bow. But when you get your bow where you want it, leave it, okay? Don't keep messing with it. And if you're going to sell these and you're going to be packaging these, sometimes you can put a little tissue paper in there, roll it up, and keep your form. Take a picture of it when you get finished. So later on, if one of your loops get moved, you have. That's one of the things that I really found. Look, it's coming alive. Look at that. That's one of the things that I really found helpful, okay? I always take a picture of my bow when I'm finished, because if I'm making a particular bow and then the fluffing is not exactly how I want it and the loops aren't where I wanted them, it doesn't, help. And then you have to go back and look and say, wait a second now, well, how did I fluff that again? So always take a picture of your bow when you get finished, okay? And your first couple bows, they might have, they're going to be beautiful. All bows are beautiful, and I'm sure if you make one, you can find something to do with it. Now, look, it's starting to come alive, but it still looks a little crazy, right? All right, so let me show you this fluffing technique on this bow here. So the 3-2-1 bow, I hope y'all didn't leave me yet, okay? Don't leave me. Don't leave before the magic happens, okay? So you're going to take this back loop, top one, you're going to take this bottom one here, okay? And you're going to separate them like so. All right? Just like that. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. You got your bottom loop and your top loop. Do I have the bottom loop and the top loop? Yep. Yeah, sure do. All right, bottom and top loop, and you're going to separate them, okay? And don't worry, that wire is on there tight. If you have a wire or zip tie, whatever you have, it's not going to come apart if you made your bow in the right way. All right, now I'm going to pick this up and just show it to you. Okay, still looking a little crazy, right? Okay, well, let's see what we can do. Now, all bows are not made to be fluffed, okay? Let me repeat that. All bows are not made to be fluffed. You can fluff them initially, okay? But if you want a certain style here, like I have, you want to bring these sides down. Then we're just going to fluff these, or we're going to push them back, okay? These 2 4-inch here. You're going to fluff them, but you're going to push them back. All right? And then this long one here, you're going to fluff it. Don't push it back, just fluff it. So there's a technique really to fluffing, even after you go through all this work we just did. All right, and then same with the back. You're going to pull those apart. So your two big ones, top and bottom, they're coming apart, okay? All right, now, let's pick it back up and show you, see what we have. See, I'm right-handed and my camera's on the left. So I did this on the side because everybody does a head on and from the back, but you don't see what's going in the dowel and how it's going in. Okay, now, doesn't that look better? So you see you have 3 large loops, okay? You have the 2 smaller loops. You have your button in the middle, okay? And that's your 3, 2, 1. So now you know how to make a 3, 2, 1 bow. And this is very flimsy burlap, so it's, like I said, you have to fool with it a while till you really get it to, you know, the way you want it. You know, it's your own creation. And like I said, there's no, bows are like people. There's no perfect bows and there's no perfect people. And it never really is going to look exactly right until you really get it hanging on to something. Let's see what we can put this baby on here. What do I have sitting around here I can hang this on? Here, look, I have a pool noodle. Check it out. What are these called? Noodles, little noodles. Let me take my wire and tie it on here so y'all can see. Yeah, I mean, when you have a bow flat down, some people have a fluff box. They help too. But it doesn't really look nice until you really get it tied onto something there. And that's too tall. Y'all probably can't see that. Can you see this one? No, that's not going to work. Anyhow, you get the idea, okay? So that's your 3, 2, 1 bow. As long as these bottom loops on both sides and these top are up and this one's in the middle, you have your button there. And then if you want to do your, this string's annoying me. Then if you want to do your dovetails, can you see that now? There you go. And now y'all can see it sitting there. Can you see it? And then you can do your little dovetails, okay? I think too long a tail will take away from your bow. You have this big, beautiful bow, and it's nice to have long tails, but you'll get the idea. I mean, this is a pretty big bow, y'all. This is about, shoot, 10 inches wide, the depth of it, and 7 inches height. It's a pretty nice big bow here. So when you dovetail, you take your 2 ends, your border ends, see that? You don't want to cut the one that looks like a arrowhead, okay? You take these 2 together here, and you want to go at about a 45, well, come on now. You want to go at about a 45-degree angle, like so. And just take a little bit off there, not too much, just half an inch, And then I'll show you a trick. You hold it by the back. I like to hold mine in the button a lot. Pull those tails forward and look at that. Look how pretty that is. Look. Look. Aren't they pretty? And that is a pretty bow there. It's just big. It has volume. How beautiful would that be on a big Easter basket or a topper for something or a big present? You could just put that right on a gift. That's just beautiful. That really turned out nicely. I'm very pleased with that. So I hope y'all like it, and I hope y'all had a good time with me tonight. Like I said, this is my very first vlogging video, and I'm sure I made 1,000 mistakes, but I hope you learned something today that will save you a lot of money on wasting ribbon in the future. Use the same ribbon and practice over and over and over. Don't make bows and throw them in the trash. Don't give up when you have your stack and you say, oh God, this doesn't look like much of nothing. I mean, you really got to play with this. You really got to go in there and fluff and play with this. So if you're watching this video, tell me where you're from. Say hi to me. I'm really losing my voice now, guys. Go figure, my first video, I'm losing my voice. And tell me what you think of my bow. Tell me what you think of my video. What could I do better? What did I miss? Teach me something new. We're all learning something new every day because we all don't have all the answers, right? That's why they call it arts and crafts, okay? And art is not science. Art is art. And I think that's a cute little bow we made tonight. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you next time.